What is up, guys? Steve here with Scotch and Things. What is day? Friday. Running some errands. I don't know, maybe some nice stuff, mostly some work stuff and just life stuff. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. So let's say Friday to Friday. We'll just start last Friday. First, what do I got on me today? Still rocking the Deadlock. It's an epic knife, guys. It makes me want a full tie one. That would be sweet. This one's got some weight to it, right? Which is nice. But a full tie one, I don't know. Let's not get crazy with expensive OTFs. Like I said, go run some errands. Gonna go get a bunch of crap for next week's work week. Okay, let's start last Friday. Crazy, because it's funny, like I've been listening to all these all the guys' lives, Shane and John and Billy Apex has brought up some stuff up before, but so last Friday we were volunteering, helping out at the local fish fry. And I had to leave at like 5:30, a little before, to go get my youngest daughter from play practice. So, and it's getting like, it was pretty nice last week, but the weather was we're chance of storms. So I start going to, go get her. And it's funny, I took a picture and sent it to Stu and Justin. I'm like, oh God, Armageddon. And at this point I can hear like sirens. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm almost to the school, and it just so happened, like we were at the fish fry, and my wife has this little, I don't know, all the girls have them too, like a little, they don't use them as like a fanny pack. They have these little Lululemon bags that they wear over their shoulders. Anyway, it had her phone and the keys to her van in it. And I was like, I need your keys. I gotta found them. And she's like, just take the whole bag. I'm like, nah, just give me the keys. Well, anyway, I ended up taking just the whole bag. It had her phone in it and the keys. And her phone is just blowing up as I'm getting closer to the school. It's just nonstop ringing. It won't stop. I'm like, oh God. I'm figuring it's my youngest daughter who's at school at play practice, wondering where the hell, someone is to pick her up. And I just I'm like, all right. I mean, it wouldn't stop. So I unzip it, get it out of the bag. And, iPhones have that, when someone leaves you a voicemail now, it looks like a text, so you can kind of read it. So I just kind of quick scanned it. It was like, hey, this is so-and-so, one of our renters. Tree fell over, fire department's on their way. I'm like, oh shoot. So I call her, I'm like, what's going on? And a tree in the backyard had fallen down from the high winds, and it had ripped the power off the house. And so it was sparking a little bit. All right, I'm like, I'll be there. I'm just grabbing my daughter and I'll be right there. Get the daughter, go, and of course, fired a truck in the middle of the street, cops blocking both ends off. So I park and walking through, and they're like, I'm like, nah, it's my property. What's going on? I don't know a lot of things. I'm not a fireman. I'm not an expert on, I definitely am not an electrician or anything like that. But they've got the hoses ran. I'm like, what's going on? So I walk back, and then there's more cops. Oh, you can't. I'm like, it's my house. What's going on? And so finally they let me back, and I'm looking, right? Tree had fallen over, ripped the power off the house, and there's like a little black spot right where it had sparked, and on the siding. I'm like, But they're like, they'll keep hitting it with water. I'm like, what's, and at this point I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, there's no fire, there's just some sparks, and you guys keep throwing water on electricity. And like I said, I'm not an expert. Someone let me know, but that doesn't seem right. They're waiting for the power company to come and kill the power. I'm like, the door's right there. Go inside and just kill the power. I called my electrician, and you know what, guys? having a good electrician on hand. This guy saved our ass. He comes, Easter Sunday one year, the dude is just awesome. And so I get a hold of him and I'm like telling him what's going on. I'm like, this doesn't, he's like, yeah, they're idiots. I'll be right there. He gets there and we're looking, and they keep, finally NPPD, OPP, whatever, Nebraska Public Power, get there, shut power off. And everybody says we're lucky, right? We're a small town, 10,000 people, to have a full-time fire department, which we're building them a brand new multi-million-dollar fire station, which they have a pretty nice one already, which we're about ready to drive by. But to have a full-time fire department, right, instead of a volunteer. But then I'm like, is it part volunteer? Because the guy who owns the blind store and furnishings and stuff like that is all kitted up in fire gear. What's going on, right? Nice guy. Bought our blinds for our house from him. But he's just looking like all anxious, man. And it's just funny because Shane and Donnie were talking about one of these fireman tools, right? I can't remember what they're called. Got the hooks on one end and kind of like a long crowbar, a breacher's tool or whatever. So, they just keep looking, and they've got these cameras. They've got this handheld thing that, it's a thermal imaging device or whatever. And they're going inside, and they're like, nope, nothing in the walls inside. Hitting it on the wall outside, and they're like, yep, temp's 75 degrees. Everything's fine, and they keep looking, and this guy's just looking like he wants to destroy something, right? So like I said, not a fireman, don't know what the procedure is here. I know they want to make sure everything's safe, but if they've confirmed with their thermal imaging camera, whatever this device is, that there's no fire in the wall, right? It didn't get inside. There was no fire. It was just sparks. That everything's fine, and he proceeds then to rip the fucking siding off my house. Just in my eyes, complete unnecessary destruction. So there's that. So then that Saturday, get all that fucking taken care of. I can't remember in our lease what it says about disaster or something like that. I thought there was some. Anyway, we put them up. They couldn't get MPP back out. The electrician's like, all right, they're going to come out Monday, and I'm going to come out Monday morning, get everything hooked up. So Monday they'll have power again. So we put them up in a hotel for the weekend. Got them a Visa gift card to pay for food throughout the weekend. Right, that's just the right thing to do. It's not their fault. So then last Saturday I spent cutting up that tree, and it's weird, in all our rental properties, the last, I don't know, it's been a while now, but we had gone through, all these storms. We get storms, and all these trees in town here are just old and big, and you think of trees and you're like, hey, I don't want that falling on my roof. So we've spent a lot of money the last couple of years taking trees down, and we've taken one down at this property, and I don't know why we didn't take the other two. I think because they said they were healthy, right? They'd done some trimming. So then last Tuesday, then the tree guys came out and knocked down the last two big trees on this property. So yay, spending money. So there's that. That was last. So we're talking. So that was last Friday. Knife stuff still. Don't know when those orders are coming in. It's weird how Hawk has done this release on the Talon. Kind of like how Medford did it on his OTF. It's this slow couple. Like you see guys getting their knives, and you're like, where's my knife? Where's my knife? And I reached out to them 2 weeks ago, and they said, oh, yours is gonna be another 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Shit. I just got a message from Doug. I wanted to ship his Pyrenees back today, which is an awesome knife. Thank you for letting me check that out. It's been on my list of wants for years and years, and I still think I definitely want one. It's an epic knife. But I just wanted to confirm his address, and because I'm out running errands, I was going to ship it, so I'll ship it later today or something. So yeah, that was last weekend. Then Sunday spent at a dance competition, which goes into tipping, right? Everybody's been talking about tipping, right? Yeah, tipping. They're asking for tips for stuff that they've done nothing, and so we go to this dance competition last Sunday, and they've got a little concession area, whatever. And I went up and got a Red Bull and a water from a cooler outside. Like, mind you, I got the cooler, I got the drinks, took them up to the counter, and before you complete your transaction, they want a 15, 20, or 25% tip. I'm like, and then it's like, shame, it's this whole process of you hitting another button, them giving you a dirty look so it goes back so you can say no tip. You know, I did the work. You guys didn't do anything. It's this, I think tipping, like they were talking, it's kind of getting out of hand. And it's not really the employee's fault, right? It's whoever's getting these machines. And you know, Subway does it now. I noticed my daughter works at Subway, and I went in and got lunch when she was working one day, and I think maybe he knew I was her dad, but he asked for a tip, which I thought was grossly like just what? You're asking for tips now. So I don't know. What tipping used to be like a service, right, industry thing, like a waitress or a waiter, a cab, you know, someone's driving you something. It seems like everybody wants a tip now for doing nothing. So I don't know. There's that. Work was, so then we get into the work week. Monday we went out to put a spiral on. I've mentioned it in past. Our favorite bin manufacturer, MFS, which was bought by AGI out of Canada, they shut down. They announced that they were shutting down the bin operations in Nebraska, Grand Island, and they were not going to make their bins anymore, which I am just distraught from and can't really understand their thinking. Well, we worked Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, I had to go to Grand Island for a 2-day meeting, CERT class on their new bins that they're going to be bringing down from Canada. All I can say, let's go over the bins real quick. All I can say is there's a lot of unnecessary stuff in them. It seems to be some good stuff. We'll see. We're going to start our first one next week. Some dumb stuff. Questioning them why they went to a flat, wide core corrugation compared to a narrow core, and they didn't really come up with an answer. Like, because I said I've seen, like, we've done a lot of bin repairs, and it's always it's more often than not the flat corrugation because it's flatter and it catches more wind. Some parts seem good, right? Coming from them, everything is this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But we'll see. We will see. Like I said, I don't know. I'll build one and reserve my thoughts. But being only an hour from home, I was just going to drive both days. And like Tuesday was beautiful, 70 degrees. And I got, halfway through the day, like we knew there was going to be some snow moving through and a storm possible. And for my wife to message me saying, she's pretty frugal, saying, hey, you might need to get a hotel room for the night. I'm like, what? And a bad storm. It, from what could have been maybe, possibly, turned into like, all right, blizzard's gonna happen. So got a hotel, got done. I had taken nothing with me, so got done with the first day. And it's hard. You haven't been in meetings in 10 years like that, where it's an all day, all day meeting with some just breaks here and there. Boy, man, that's a struggle when you, in over 10 years, and you haven't sat for that long in one spot and just listened to people talk. So I had to run to Walmart real quick and buy a toothbrush, a toothpaste, and a deodorant and bullshit like that. Find a room, which was really expensive. And then we went out to dinner. Started thundering and raining around 10 o'clock that night. No big deal. Woke up. Our meeting was supposed to start at 8. Got up next morning, had breakfast, and started the truck to get it warmed up. And as I'm driving there, I get notification that they pushed the meeting back 2 hours. I'm like, God. So I go back to the hotel thinking, all right, interstate's closed. The highway to get home is closed. you know, I'm sure by 4 o'clock it'll be fine. You know, so I didn't keep my room. And, you know, go through the meeting that day, more blah, 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 shit with the bin. Go home, and it says, like, that the interstate's definitely closed. They've blocked it off. Start to go home, I'm, like, talking to the wife. I'm like, oh, all right, because they had lost power, so I, you know, just bought a bunch of snacks and junk food at the grocery store for them. Start heading home, and I'm not even a mile outside of Grand Island, and there's 4 cars in the ditch already. Go another mile, come up on 3 semis, one's off the road, 2 are blocking the road for no reason other than to help their buddy, but like that makes, like, stay in your lane. Like, why are you blocking the entire, so it makes it hard to get around. And I'm like, am I gonna get around? Trying, and there's a car coming, another truck coming from the opposite direction, and he pulls up and roll down our windows, and he was coming from work from that way, and he's like, it's close. He goes, there's no way around. There's a really bad accident just a couple more miles up the road, and then the sheriff's department's got it blocked off at the next town. He goes, you're not getting, so then goes the search for a hotel room, which was really kind of hard, that, you know, and again, spent way more than I thought on a room in a small, you know, at a Holiday Inn. Come to find out, I forgot, being from this area, it's like the sandhill crane migration. So people from all over the country come for this. That's why the hotel rooms were so in demand and hard to get. But I had some free beer and, you know, talked to some old people about birds in the bar that night, and finally got home yesterday. So yeah, now I'm just out running errands. So that was my week. Just went from one calamity to another. Hopefully next week's better. We're gonna head out, and then we got 9 inches of snow here. So then I got home and spent like 2 hours snow blowing. Yeah, just getting stuff cleared, and it's starting to melt away. It got up to like 50 something yesterday. It's supposed to be 50s and 60s, so hopefully by Monday, it just means it's gonna be muddier than crap when we go back to work. So that's what I got, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.